Hi, good morning, Nikhil. Hope you've been doing good.
Yes, doing absolutely fine. How are you, Praveen?
I'm doing good, thanks. So, we'll start our first podcast today, and this is more about why good employees don't get promoted.
Wonderful. I think
Okay,
that's a great topic as well. I think many people over the years must have been wondering why they're not getting promoted or something like that. I think we would be able to put some insight into it with our discussion.
yes. So, without wasting a second, let's talk very directly about it. So, what do
Yeah.
you think, in your experience, what you have seen? Do you think good performers get promoted, or is just a statement or myth we all believe in?
See, honestly speaking, good performers, not, I mean, the top performers not always get promoted. That's a fact and that's a reality, right? And that there's a basic thing to it. There are multiple aspects to it as well. One of them being good performance is a given. So whenever you're working, wherever you're working, whatever profile you're working, you're expected to deliver whatever is being asked of you. And now the times have actually changed, right? Earlier, if you would be able to meet your performance and possibly 3 years in a row you're doing that, not doing anything extraordinary, possibly you'll get a promotion, right? I'm talking about 15, 20 years earlier. Now, there is so much competition. There's so much competition. Even if you are just repeating the same, you're doing excellent job, you're doing good job, just about your core job in that particular year and the next year itself, your next year you would not be rated 3. You would not be even given a meets expectation because your expectation would be continuously growing up, right? So performance is a given. Performance is not a factor anymore. Performance is a given. Performance to karna padega. Rest of the things are very important. Rest of the things comes across is one is how is your visibility? Your visibility needs to be excellent. You need to be seen. You need to be heard. You need to be talked about as well, right? Your relationships are also extremely important. Not just right?
Correct. Correct. So you mean performance, just performance is not enough because performance or your performance against your KRAs or KPI is not enough because anyways we get to compare it with the people we are working with, right?
Correct. See, when a manager is actually comparing, they're not comparing two people. That SN does not hold true anymore, right? Uh, what they're competing is comparing is the multiple aspects of it. One is what is the kind of work that they've given it to you and how you've been able to handle when you've been able to handle certain critical last or situations over the period of time while working with them, how you have reacted in critical situations, how has your availability been there, how much extra you've done, right? So extra does not come in performance. It is something different. I'm not talking about making extra reports or something like that. I'm talking about taking extra initiatives, right? Till the time I do not start taking my manager's job and if I'm not doing his work or her work for that matter, I would not be in the competition for even consideration for a promotion, right?
That's
If I'm just doing my job, so I'm not giving the confidence to my manager that I can do their job or the next level job as well. So I think this was told to me way back in 2007 or 8 when my head of department was there and I asked him that I've been a top performer for the last two appraisal cycles. It had been just over more than 1.5 years into the system at that point of time. And I said, why I'm not getting promoted? He said, Nikhil, you just doing your job. Uh, Two things he told me. He said, you're not taking your manager's job and you're doing too much. You're spending 12 hours a day. And I haven't seen you putting any initiative of yourself to develop yourself. You're not delegating it to your team, right? Not delegating enough work to the people in the team as well. So
yeah.
if you're not free, I can't give you critical work. If I'm not able to give you critical work, how can I make you a manager? Right?
Yes, because you're not creating your hands.
Absolutely, absolutely. So so that has been, I think, one of the main things that has stuck with me. I think it's been more than 20 years, around 20 years that understood that. And and I would not say that uh, only that thing works. The perception that you build around is extremely important. Managing the perception is absolutely important because at the end of the day, your manager is not just the only person who's going to take the decision on your promotion. The people who are equivalent to your managers or other departments, they're also going to give their say, right? It's just not in your manager's hands anymore. And for that reason, I think your visibility is extremely important.
Yes. And what do you think? What plays a bigger role in promotions, whether it's the performance or their visibility around or their relationship? Because many times people come and say it's like, because I don't have a good relationship with my manager or someone around, maybe that's why.
No, that's absolutely. And I'm actually telling you, despite being in HR, I'm telling you a very harsh truth. Uh, your managers, I mean, your relationship with the top management is extremely important. That's the first one, right? The second is your visibility, and the third is a performance. Like I said, performance is a base level. If you, by being a top performer, you've just entered the room. In order to own that room, right, you need to build relationships. And
Correct.
basis those relationships, your
Hmm.
visibility would also flow, right? In the critical aspects, when they see again, many a times every team would face certain crunch times. Many a times certain teams would have certain amount of issues that would suddenly come up, right? In those times, how were you able to handle those things, the criticality as well? So that would actually enhance your visibility, right? Being present at the right time, asking right questions, right? Not just asking questions for the sake of asking the right questions that hit the nail. Uh, and again, I would cautious people who would be actually watching this. Uh, don't ask just questions just for asking questions, right? Again, uh, don't ask questions just to, if there is a discussion going on and the people are trying to find an answer, don't bring in questions which are trying to bring in more questions or problems into it. Just trying to find solutions basis that, right? That's how you would grow your visibility, not by asking questions. So, for example, there are certain challenges with, let's say, which is happening in a team. The team is trying to figure things out, and you're trying to give them 10 more problems that these are the things that would happen. Instead of that, you could say, these are the 10 things that could happen. These are the top five things that we should focus on. For these top five things, I have these five answers ready. Let's work on that.
That's so
Right.
true.
This gives the visibility of in the room that you're talking about, that I'm talking about. In the room, then you start getting the visibility. Then you start building relationships, the top tier of it. Well, why is it important? Because again, everybody's choosing their own team, right? Uh, and it's not about I don't like this person, right? It's about I am more comfortable with this person,
Correct. So it's
right?
more performance is bare minimum, and your visibility and your relationship with your manager or your stakeholders, is the main thing that has to be in place.
Absolutely. I mean, look at cricket for that matter. I mean, the you would have best of players not playing with certain captains because certain captains are like not very comfortable with them, right? And that's a fact. And because again, the captain is not just choosing his team people for just one day performance or one particular time performance. He's choosing team of let's say 16 people that would be bringing in that camaraderie. They would be bringing in that positiveness. So he wants the similar kind of mindset people. So when MS Dhoni was there, he wanted similar kind of cool-headed mindset people. When Virat Kohli was there, he wanted aggressive team players to be part of his
Really.
team. Right. So the kind of a manager is that you have to bring in your body language accordingly, right? You have to uh, you could say impersonate their style as well, so that you come into that into their aura of closeness, right? Once you are in that, then you start building relationship. Then your performance comes across into the matter, then your visibility comes into the matter, and then the whole collectively you get an opportunity for getting promoted.
Correct. So you need to be their tribe, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Right. So uh, I mean that's actually the harsh reality. We're not just looking at whether it's an IT firm. We're not just looking at the best of coders. See, if you're the best of coder, you're happy there. The organization is very happy for you there, right? Because they would not find a better replacement for you. So they're happy to keep you there. They'll probably keep on giving you money. You might be earning more than a manager for that matter, right? But if you want to go ahead and take that manager's job, so you have to create your own replicas, right?
So true.
If you empower your team members who are younger than you, even if they're older than you or more tenured than you, if you start empowering them, right, and you bring them up to your own level, that's not a negative on yours, right? That's absolutely not a negative. That the organization will see that. The organization will see that you're doing something extra, right? You're doing a manager's job, you're doing a mentor's job, and when people are absolutely okay and happy with you, then they go ahead with that.
That's so true. Yes. And in your experience, have you ever seen someone who was really deserving a promotion and didn't get it? And what do you think? What really went wrong?
I mean, uh, haven't that happened with all of us, right? We would have thought the same as well. And I just gave you a story. I mean, 17, 18 years back, I reached out to my manager. I said, I'm the top performer. I'm not getting promoted. And the similar thing. I mean, people would feel that a lot, right? That they're performing best, whatever they've been asked for, they deliver on time, much before time. Sometimes they take slightly more tasks as well, right? But why are they not uh, getting promoted? See, you cannot sit in a cubicle, you cannot sit in a 4 by 4 area of yours and keep on working there and not look left or right. We are social beings, we are social animals. You need to be socially active, you need to be socially visible, right? You don't need to fake things up, you just need to be present, right? If you're an introvert, absolutely fine with that as well. If you don't want to talk a lot of things to a lot of people, absolutely fine. I think that's a great thing. You should not be speaking too much as well. But uh, you need to be there in that room as well, right? When there is a gathering, you need to be there. Be silently there. Be silently observant as well, right? What things are happening, how people are perceiving, what the organization is thinking about. You should have an idea about it, not just your work. If you're doing only your job, and if you're only concentrating on what your work is bringing, and you're doing the best of work possible, you've been asked to design a new app, you create the best app possible that nobody else would have done it, but you have no idea what the organization goal is, what the organization is thinking about, what are the futures that they're looking at. If there is something that you can bring your thought to, or have a discussion with, right? Or have absolutely zero knowledge about what the rest of the teams are doing. I mean, nobody's going to promote you. Why would they promote you? Because if they promote you, you would take up time to understand the rest of the business as well, rest of the people as well. As a manager, it's important for you to understand whom you're working with, right? And if you want to be a manager, it's important for you to understand what your team is all about, right? If you don't then know the plus and minus yourself, you would not be made a manager. And
Correct.
it's not that you have to tell them that these are your plus or minus. I mean, that would be very long, right? Without being a manager, you start telling them, that would be very long. But that would automatically be shown or seen by my managers, that you are aware of what's happening in your team. Once you're aware of what's happening in your team and the teams around, that is extremely important. That brings in visibility. And then relationship, relationship. It's not about psychophancy. It's absolutely not about psychophancy. It's about uh, being there for people, being visible, not just being visible. See, visibility is again performance based, work based, right? Relationship is a very different thing altogether. Uh, Building relationship means standing somewhere with somebody and sipping coffee, having a discussion, right? Not just about work, right? uh, getting to know the other person, how the other person works, how the other person thinks, functions, what are their personal thoughts about certain aspects or certain not as or for that matter, sports even for that matter, getting the interest learned, right? Specifically for your leaderships as well, right? Building that, uh, I mean, mm, covering those bridges step by step, that is extremely important. When they feel comfortable with you, right, then only they will bring you in their own team, right?
And what do you think? Like, how much influence does the manager really have in this promotion decisions?
See, the manager has a, a huge control over your career, right?
Okay.
Right? They can literally change the direction of what you want to do in your organization, right? If the manager is convinced, uh, even even if the manager is not able to do it this year, they would definitely be able to push it for next year as well. If they are convinced that you can do the job, they will keep on pushing, right? Because they also want their jobs to get easier. You get promoted, it becomes easier for them as well, right? Some of the responsibilities goes to you. They would have an opportunity to get promoted themselves because they've given some of their work to you, right? So it's a cycle. They would always want you to get promoted, but they would also want the right people to get promoted because if you put in the wrong person to get promoted, eventually the organization might have to let you go if you're not performing to the task. They would not put you on a lower level. They will eventually ask you that let's find something else, right? Or eventually you will leave because out of frustration, and that becomes manager's job even more tougher because then they would have to find another one for the 1 or 2 years, and then their promotion also gets delayed, right? In
Correct.
most of the cases, right? So, manager having a relationship with the manager extremely important. You can't just keep on working. You need to have the right discussions with the manager as well. You need to tell the manager that I'm looking for promotion. Tell me what are the things that I need to work on. Managers love that because if somebody's showing interest in their own career and coming up to them and asking them for their opinion, and when you work on that opinion, they see that you're working on that opinion, and that gives them that push so that they can push you forward as well. They can talk to the management. Okay, these are the things that I highlighted. These are things that he's literally worked upon, and I think he's ready for the next role, right? When you go to the third person and
Yes.
ask them what are your challenges, that the third person would always tell you the right things, right? Because they're looking from their own perspective. Whatever they tell you, you should work on them. You should not think, okay, I know better. When you have that kind of a mindset, uh, you would not be growing at all.
True, true. That's so correct. And what do you think? What really bias plays its role in promotions?
Yeah, the bias comes in naturally, right? And Um, and that's a hard truth, right? We train the managers to remove their personal biases from the system, right? But again, that would naturally creep in, right? Uh, if I'm comfortable with somebody, I would want that person to be working with me more, right? If I'm not comfortable with somebody, I would want uh, to have some kind of a distance with them, right? So, and that comes naturally, isn't it? And that's not biased. That's being very clear as well, right? If let's say I'm kind of a person who's very reactive, right, and who is very aggressive on certain aspects, uh, and who's not who thinks possibly if I think that I know better than my manager, I should have been at his place all the time. If I think that, so there is a lot of negativity that I would always have. My manager would get that, right? And whenever I would respond to him, that would not be a very positive response, right? That person would realize. So why would he want you to be part of his core team by promoting you? He would not, right? He would say, okay, fine, keep on doing your job, what you're doing. And somebody who's whom he's more comfortable with, possibly less in performance, that person would be the right better fit for that person, right? Because he would be able to adjust with that person. They would be able to make better decisions together, all right? And those are things that actually matter. It's not the top performers all the time. It's the right people at the right position.
Correct, correct. Thanks. I believe people are taking their notes, what they need to do.
I hope so.
Right. So, and what do you think, or what do you suggest if someone is really doing good work and still not getting promotion as they are looking for? What difference should they do to get the promotions?
I think they're not right asking the right questions. They're not going up to their managers. Absolutely, they're not going up to their managers. They're not asking them. They're not asking the management, and it's not about asking and going and fighting with them. Absolutely not. Just in a very reverse manner, just go and ask them, what are the things I need to work on to get promoted? That's a very simple question.
So,
You
yeah.
need to
We
ask. You need
need,
to ask.
yes, we need to really set standards and what our managers have expectations from us so that we can get promoted, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Right. So again, if as a manager, right, if somebody's not coming to me, right, and asking, "Okay, what should I do to improve?" I would say, okay, they're fine with themselves. Whatever they're doing, they're happy with themselves. And there are certain people who don't want to take too much of responsibilities, right? And you start thinking of possibly these are those kind of people that who don't want to take too much responsibilities on their head. They're happy doing what they're doing right now, and possibly they want to do continue for a very long period of time. Just they're absolutely happy with what content with what they're doing. And there are a certain amount of people who want to improve, and they would be coming up to you saying, how do I improve? How do I improve? How do I improve? And keep on telling them, keep on guiding them. And eventually, there would be a lot of pressure on the manager itself because whatever I am asking this person to do, this person is doing. And then he's coming back to me, then asking for more and more improvements that he can give. And I'm still giving him answers. I think he's ready for the next role. And they would push for you.
Right. That's correct. Okay, so thank you so much, Nikhil. Thank you so much, taking out some time and speaking with me and talking about all of this. And I would like to summarize this conversation. So, what we just discussed, we agree that performance is bare minimum, right?
Yes,
That's bare minimum to get promoted. And
correct,
top of that, it's really important that we have the right visibility and the relationship with our managers and people around or our stakeholders, right? And
correct,
it's
correct,
very important to be your manager, your organization's tribe. So
correct.
you can't work in isolation and expect promotions and so much around, correct?
Yeah, and just add one particular line. So basically, uh, promotions are nothing but they're basically a game that you have to play, right? It's 50% performance and 50% politics, right? The faster promoters are the ones who figured out how to play that game.
Yes, that's hit on bullseye.
Right. And that's totally about it, right? Every organization has a very different culture. You need to understand that culture of that organization. You need to understand your managers, your line of managers, what are the kind of thinking that they have, and and you need to amalgamate yourself into that kind of a role, right? If you don't fit well, move out. But if you think you can fit well, so you have to change. Change is extremely essential.
Correct. Thank you. I mean, that's a great takeaway for
Yeah.
anyone.
I'm
Oh,
happy that I could help.
yeah. Thanks and have a good day.
You too. Thanks, Praveen. Nice
Thank you.
speaking with you. Bye.
Same. Likewise.